Would you like to accelerate your career and reach your full potential in just minutes a day? Welcome to the LEADx Show with New York Times best-selling author and Inc. 500 entrepreneur, Kevin Kruse.
Work, family, fitness. How can you get it all done? Hello everyone, Kevin Kruse here. Welcome to the LEADx Show, the smartest way to start your day. And in just a minute, we're going to talk to two working moms who decided to launch their own fitness empire. But first, a friendly reminder that you can get more of LEADx by following LEADx Life on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And I answer listener questions every Friday on our weekly wrap-up show. You can submit your question by going to leadx.org/askkevin. Just click the little button and ask your question out loud, and the microphone on your computer will record you and send it right to me. I'll play it back on the air, and then we will send you a cool LEADx t-shirt or coffee mug. People are asking me about leadership, productivity, entrepreneurship, writing, speaking. Obviously, it's really an AMA, and ask me anything. So go to leadx.org/askkevin. Today's 1-minute career tip is interview mentees. Now, I believe in giving back in many different ways, and that includes mentoring young entrepreneurs and young leaders. I've mentored the founders of a startup in Africa whose mission is to bring solar-powered lanterns to families who have no electricity. I've mentored an entrepreneur in Pakistan whose nonprofit provides professional skills to young graduates so they're more likely to get good jobs. Those were great, but many times I agree to give help and the person doesn't show up on time for meetings or skips them completely. They don't implement the advice that I'm giving them. What I've learned is that yes, I'll continue to mentor people, but now I choose them very carefully. It's like a job interview. I'll evaluate just how committed they are to the whole process. How engaged are they? How badly do they want it? So remember, it's great to be a mentor, but that's valuable time you could be using to pursue your own goals or to help someone else who is more worthy. Interview potential mentees. We have two guests today. They met as young moms in Chicago and shared their mutual frustrations with not having experiential workout options that met their needs as busy parents. Fast forward to today, and they're best friends and business partners in a fast-growing fitness company called Shred 415. It's a multi-million-dollar business with 9 locations, and they're getting ready to launch franchises throughout the United States. Our guests are Bonnie Micheli and Tracy Roemer. Bonnie and Tracy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hi.
Now, I want to hear about Shred 415 in a minute, but I always hit my guests with a doozy of a first question. I want you to get real. I want you to think back and, tell us a story. I want you to tell us a time when you failed at something, maybe really early in your career. And what did you learn from it? Because I want to learn from your failure too. And there's 2 of you, so I get 2 lessons today. Tracy, do you want to share one of your failure stories?
Sure. So I was a very young manager. I started managing employees when I was in my mid-20s. And I just expected all of my employees to have the same work ethic and same work drive as I did. So I didn't have much empathy, and I struggled motivating my team to success. I would close myself off. I'd get frustrated with my employees, and I ended up doing all the work myself. And it was extremely hard and challenging for me. So I had to do a really big deep dive, and I started listening to motivational speakers, and I started reading books on how to motivate and how to manage employees. And I realized that not all human beings are motivated the same way. And that meant a lot to me because I knew that the front desk girl coming in, working 2 hours a day, wanting free classes was not motivated the same as my mom and dads who were working in the sales team, wanting to provide for their family. So I really had to ask a lot of questions to them. I needed to get curious with them, and I needed to know why they were waking up every day to come into work. And when I found out why they were coming into work, I was able to set expectations with them. I was able to set goals for them and really drive my team to success. And I realized by setting daily powwows with them and setting the day up right for them, we were able to really create a team and have a mutual respect for one another. Today, go ahead.
No, well, I just wanted to clarify because it sounds like, so you were first-time manager in a fitness facility of some kind.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and it's an industry like retail in general. Often you're faced with a lot of turnover. The employees themselves tend to be younger, so that's an extra tough environment.
Very tough. Exactly. So you had a lot of young employees coming in, a lot of people not showing up for work, a lot of people just not wanting to be there for the right reasons. So just trying to find that motivation and that drive within them to get them to come to work, and not only come to work, but also motivate them to do their job well.
Yeah, and there's so much gold here. And, LEADx family, when I think about, Tracy's story, first of all, I mean, I was a horrible manager in my 20s, a small business guy, didn't have any training, in how to do it. But even in the big companies, they say it's like fewer than 20% of managers have ever really received any official training in how to do it. And we finally, through pain of like doing it all ourselves, we're like, okay, we've got to read a book or go to a course and start to figure it out. But I think the key in what you said is it wasn't that you just realized, okay, you have to motivate people, but that you individualized your leadership. You got to know people on an individual level to figure out like, okay, what makes Kevin tick and come to work every day, is different than what's going to bring Bonnie back next week. So that is a big key, is really individualizing that. So that's a good failure story. Thank you for that. What about you, Bonnie?
So my failure story goes back to my first job out of college. I went to work for one of the big four accounting firms in the consulting side, and I was a computer programmer, funny enough, and I failed at that. I actually was not a good computer programmer, and the only thing that got me through, I was traveling 5 days a week, and the only thing that got me through that was I woke up every morning at 4:45 and went to the gym, and I would work out. And back then there was no boutique fitness. I was at a big box gym. I motivated myself, but it was the one thing that started my day and really kept me going. Years later, when I was out of computer programming, I first taught my first fitness class and realized that, oh my God, I had a huge discovery. Like, this is what I want to do. And that's really what led me to Tracy and led us to even discussing and together creating Shred 415.
Yeah, it's amazing. So let me ask, why do you think you went into programming to begin with if you really didn't like it?
Back then, so this was, I'm going to date myself, but it was in 1998. And, these big consulting firms were hiring people right out of college that you just had to take a test. And if you had that logic kind of brain, they would train you to become a computer programmer. And I passed the test, and it was a great job. And I was a business management degree. And so it was a way to learn to get into the business field and get paid well, right? And have this like job traveling, and it sounded so glamorous, but I just wasn't that great at it. I made a lot of friends, but
yeah, I mean, I just think it's so many young people, and I've got 3 teenagers right now who are going to be facing this in a few years. It's sort of like we think about the money or a prestigious company, or our parents always wanted us to be X or something, and we don't really pause and realize like it's life, and life is short. So like, do we really want to be that thing or not? And it sounds like, fortunately you figured that out. So let's talk about Shred 415. So where's the name come from?
So we wanted a name that when people heard it, they would understand that shred means shredding pounds or shredding your body. But more specifically, shred is strength plus tread equals shred. And then 415 is 4 15-minute intervals.
So it's both strength training and treadmill workouts. So we get that another version of shred, and then it's the quarter hours that you're alternating, right?
Correct. So every 15 minutes, you either alternate from the treadmill to the floor or the floor to the treadmill.
Love the name. Is there a backstory as to how you guys came up with it?
So that
you can share with the public?
Yeah. So Bonnie and I met as neighbors in Chicago. We would spend many hours in the alleys watching our kids play, because that's what you do in Chicago. We have very clean alleys here. And we would kind of discuss what Chicago was lacking in terms of boutique fitness. And we really enjoyed high intensity interval training, and we couldn't find any studios in Chicago that motivated us enough to get into the studio to work out every day. And so we wanted something that would shred our baby weight and get us back to pre-mom shape. And we came up with a shred.
Wow, that's really cool. Now, I don't have a background in the fitness industry, and I'm embarrassed to say I don't spend a lot of time in fitness facilities. Maybe you guys will be able to help me with that before we're done chatting. But from an outsider, as an entrepreneur, as a business guy for now 30 years, I would think if I didn't know that you're already have had such incredible success, getting ready to take it to another level. If you guys came to me, hey, we got this idea, I'd be like, aren't there gyms already all over? And all I'm hearing about is like Soul Cycle and these crazy experiences, ride a bike and it's like a discotheque or whatever. So what's different, and what gave you the courage to be like, yeah, well, we know what's out there and this is different and can compete?
So when we first, started talking in 2010 and really brought Shred 415 to life in 2011, there was no Soul Cycle. Soul Cycle was created in New York, but, we really didn't hear about it yet. And so in Chicago, the landscape was all bar, Pilates, yoga. So nothing like high intensity interval training in a boutique fitness studio existed. And we just went for it. We saw the need and we went for it. I think, Shred 415 delivers a fun and challenging, sweat-inducing, heart-pumping workout. And we created an incredible community through that. So when we opened our doors, we have a kids room. So, parents were able to finally work out together who had small children that hadn't worked out together in years. We were bringing these families in, and then they were meeting friends, and their kids were making friends in the kids room. And this huge community was created through that.
Do all of your locations have a kids room?
Yes, there's only one that does not. But out of the 9, 8 of them have a kids room, yes.
So, and again, how many years ago was this when you launched your first one?
In April 2011.
So about 6.5 years ago.
6.5 years ago. So what did your friends and family members think? They're like, awesome idea. You guys should go do that for sure.
I did not tell anybody that I was doing it.
This is Tracy.
This is Tracy.
You didn't tell anyone.
I did not tell anyone. My husband and I decided to do this, and it was a huge risk for us. And there was no plan B. There was only plan A. So I honestly didn't want to hear from my friends and family that it wasn't a good idea.
Right.
And I didn't want to be talked out of it.
Yeah.
And therefore, we kept it to ourselves.
How about you, Bonnie?
Yeah, I've always been kind of a free spirit. And I think my family was like, oh, here she goes. So yeah, they always knew I loved fitness. So it was really fitting.
Yeah, I find it fascinating because if you read most of the, the motivational stuff around goal setting, and goals are powerful, but I think the conventional wisdom is, you set your SMART goal, you write it down, and you tell the world about it. You tell everybody about it because they're going to help hold you accountable. And, I'm of a mixed mind on that. And I mean, most of the time I've shared my goals, and most of the time, when I was in my 20s, started my first business and told people I was going to do that. And I mean, the people who I loved the most told me it was a bad idea, and that I shouldn't do it. And I can remember, I was probably 30 years old. First time I sold a company, it was a couple $1 million. And those people said, wow, you got lucky. It wasn't like it was a good idea and you pulled it off. It was like, well, you got lucky. And then when I went to do it again, they'd be like, well, why would you do it? We're in the middle of a recession. I never got, anytime I've gone out there with goals, I've never had people be like, of course, and that's perfect for you, and you're going to win. And so I kind of wonder, looking back, I think probably I should have done, Tracy, what you did. It's kind of like, right? I've got my goals, and I'll read them, and I'll look at them every day and reflect on them, but I don't need to hear it from anyone. I don't really need to hear it. So I could see both sides to that. So, I'm curious. I think a lot of our listeners are going to be curious. We've got entrepreneurs, we've got people working in Fortune 500 companies, we have managers, we have people who want to become managers, all kinds of people. And a lot of questions I get is, I'm a single dad with 3 teenagers. I'm, running a small business, doing a podcast, writing a book. And so I get hit with the question, like, how do you get it all done? Like, what's your advice? Entrepreneur, moms, how do you answer that? I'm sure you get it from people. Like, how do you keep it all together? How do you get it all done?
So we rely on a lot of help. We knew early on we were not experts at everything, and we didn't know everything. So we really talked to people about what we didn't know. So hiring a copywriter, hiring someone to help us with our website, someone who had a law degree, someone who knew how to capture sales. I mean, different things that we were not experts on, we asked for help on. We also really rely on our families. Our husbands and our kids are very supportive of what we do, and they understand how busy we can be at times, and they respect our jobs and what we do.
That's great to have that support. And Tracy, it reminds me, you talk about hiring freelancers to help in certain areas, hiring the right advisors. And, in my book, 15 Secrets all around productivity, I mean, one of the number one secrets is to delegate. And I feel like entrepreneurs either were control freaks, so it's like, well, I could do that website better than that person, or we're cheap because we don't have any money yet. Well, I don't want to pay X dollars for that website. And yet when we realize the opportunity cost, I mean, if we're not doing the thing that we are only uniquely qualified to do, we're hurting ourselves. And so it's great that those were two of your secrets there. Bonnie, anything to add to that?
Yeah, when Tracy and I opened, we didn't want to teach every class. We wanted to be awesome instructors and have everyone really want to take it, but we wanted our instructors to be just as good as us. So we trained them, and they taught a majority of the classes. She and I, when we opened, only taught 4 or 5 classes. And although people love to take our class, our instructors are incredible, and we've always made sure our training program was amazing, so that they were top instructors.
So, and that gets to leverage. And then I'm going to throw you a curveball. So instructors are key in your business, right? I mean, yes. and a bad one could ruin everything. So how do you go about hiring great talent, great instructors?
Oh, gosh. I know. Where do we begin? We have 2 great directors of training that work for us. And so that's part of our delegation, right? Is that we delegate the training of our team to our directors of training. And we have a very extensive training program that not only works on how they're going to motivate their clients, but how they're going to talk to their clients, how they're going to instruct their clients, how their personality is going to be. And we spend a lot of time on ongoing training. So a new instructor may not start out really great, but at the end of the 8 weeks or at the end of 3 months of working with them, they're going to be quite amazing.
Yeah. And, we found some of our best instructors are actually shredders. So they came on as clients. We've had so many shredders of the month, which is who we feature once a month, who's lost a lot of weight or, changed their life because of shred. And we have a lot of shredders of the month that are now instructors. That is
fantastic. To look in your own customer base where you already know what they're about and already know them is fantastic. You also have, of the 9 locations, are they all company owned? Are they franchises or a mix?
They're all company owned.
So you have, again, you can't be in 9 places at once. So you are trusting leaders at the different locations to run things. What advice would you give to, the young first-time manager out there, whether they're running a fitness facility or a restaurant or they're in a Fortune 500 company?
Our best advice to a new manager would really be to get to know your clients and be yourself. This is exactly what Tracy and I did when we first opened. We didn't wear many hats. We wore all the hats. We cleaned. We worked the kids' room. We worked the front desk. But in doing that, we knew everybody that walked through our door. We knew about their families. And that's really what drove our community and what created it from the get-go. And that's what we would tell our managers. And that's what we do tell them, is get to know everyone that walks through your door.
That's great. Authenticity is key. Now, before we wrap up, I always try to tell the LEADx listeners, just don't worry about an overnight transformation. Just get a little bit better, every single day. And you'll be amazed at the progress in a month, 90 days, a year. So I want you to challenge us. What's one specific thing that we can do today to get a little bit better?
Make time for yourself. Create a goal, set a plan, and follow through on it. So even if it's just a little bit every day of exercising. So obviously we're going to talk about exercise, and we know that everybody is so busy in their lives today with either work or kids or both. And it's really challenging to find time to exercise. But if you can take even 5-10 minutes a day to get up, walk around the block, do a video online, and take that time just to move just a little bit, you'll find yourself in a better place.
Great advice. Okay, so now I'm going to throw you another curveball just because I want free advice myself. So I'm the busy entrepreneur who says, look, I'm not going to work out in a gym because I don't want to waste the 15 minutes to drive there or any of that kind of stuff. And the thought of, I'm a massive introvert. So the thought of, being in a class and having other people looking at me, or I might have to like high five people and say, yeah, you shredded it today. Go. It's like I cringe. But here's my problem, right? So now I hit my treadmill, my weights at the house. And so I'll have a really great 60 or 90 days. And then I start to travel for work, or I hit a deadline and I have a non-existent 90 days. So I'm like up and down, which is not good, especially as I'm, entering the age I am. So honestly, so what's your advice? Is it like, yeah, you know what? Introverts might not thrive in an experiential class and just, find a way to get more reliable? Or you've seen people where it's like, Kevin, you're not working out every day because you don't have a support system. Help me with this.
I think it's that. I think it'd be great I do think we have people of all different personalities coming to Shred 415. The lights are low, you're not in a spotlight. We don't do partner workouts. We really don't like partner workouts.
Thank you for that.
But it is nice because, maybe you would make a friend or two and then they're like, where were you last week? Oh, you're busy. And then you'd be like, oh, I get to go and see my friends. And it is a motivational thing to go into a class and take classes with other people.
Yeah.
We absolutely believe that Shred 415 is for everyone. And believe it or not, I think we're both introverts. But I think that, you can walk, jog, or run in our class. You can pick your own weights. You can go all the way to the corner and not talk to a soul, or you can be right in the middle and high five everyone as they come through the door. So you can pretty much be whoever you want in that class and not have to worry about anybody judging you, because we don't judge. We honestly just want everyone to come into Shred 415 and get the best results that they can. And maybe one day you come in and you're not feeling it and you walk, and the next day you come in and you're feeling awesome and you start to jog or run. So however you're feeling that day, we want you to have the best experience.
I'm actually feeling pretty motivated. Now, I'm in Philadelphia, so it's going to be a while. But if you had your location open in Philadelphia now, I would go right now and go work out.
Just wait. We're franchising, so it's going to come to a location near you, I'm sure.
So tell us about that. So before we wrap up, I wanted to hear, is there a place for people to find out about franchise opportunities?
Yes, go to shred415.com/franchising. And you'll find all the information right there. And you can get more information by filling out the form on the website. Wonderful.
Any other links or places we should send people?
Sure. If you want to follow us on Instagram, we would love it at Shred415. Also, you can follow Bonnie and Tracy, Bonnie, ANDTRACY.
And then if you really are wanting to get motivated, you can follow our YouTube channel and you can actually do your own workouts in your own personal gym.
See, look at this.
There you go. And we have 5-minute workouts. We have 10-minute workouts. So
wow,
however you're feeling.
All right.
We have 20-minute workouts on Vimeo if you're really feeling motivated.
Love it. Love it. This is incredible, and we will put all of the links in the show notes so our listeners can get this. And I really, want to just sign off by saying, first, thanks for coming on the show, but thanks for doing what you're doing, because first of all, I think the world needs more entrepreneurs, whether it's a new app company in California or, organic meal delivery, whatever it is. I just think the world thrives based on the innovation and the energy from entrepreneurs. So thanks for being entrepreneurs, and thanks for setting an example, showing us that it ain't easy, but it can be done. It's very motivating. So thanks for that.
Thank you. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to have you back on the show in a year, and we'll hear about all the growth and success, and we'll see if I've been better on my workout schedule. How's that?
Yes. We're going to hold you accountable.
LEADx family, don't forget, you can get links and notes from this interview over at leadx.org. And you can also download our free ebook, Richard Branson's 7 Secrets to Leadership, at leadx.org/Branson. And if you want to get more LEADx in your everyday life, just follow us at LEADx Life on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. That's one word, LEADx Life. And if you've ever gotten even just one good idea from a LEADx show, Do me a huge favor. It takes less than a minute. And just subscribe to the show on iTunes and leave a quick rating. Just go to leadx.org/subscribe. Until next time, friends, remember, leadership is about influence, which means we are all leaders. Whether you're a salesperson or a soldier, an entrepreneur or an executive, a coach or a counselor, you are leading all of the time. You positively influence with your behavior, and you influence negatively when you're a bystander. How will you lead today?